It may not be your favorite season, but it's definitely an important one. Tax season. But I'm gonna let you in on something you may not realize. Your taxes could be reduced in retirement. That's good news, right? Joining us every Wednesday morning for your retirement coffee talk is George Fossing of North Star Financial and Retirement Planning. George is a financial advisor and retirement planning strategist with more than 23 years experience. Plus, he's the popular radio host of Stop Worrying, You're Retired, right here in Greenville. So George, these two words, tax time, people are like, wait, it's not even near April yet. Why do we think tax time?
That's always a fun topic, isn't it? The taxes. Yeah, it's just captivating.
Captivating, but it's important because
it's so important. You know, it's proverbial. It's not what you make; it's what you keep.
Yeah.
And people work really hard for their money.
Yeah.
And I feel people pay more than their fair share of taxes, especially the middle class. They seem to be squeezed real hard. And anything we could do to help mitigate and minimize that tax liability, I think, is huge.
It's mind-boggling when you really look, a pay stub, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Remember your first W-2?
Yeah.
I thought I made this, and all of a sudden you're like, who's FICA? Who's this FICA person?
Yeah, I know. This is half of what I signed on for. So it can get even more confusing when you retire, because what's the difference between paying taxes when you're retired versus when you were working?
Well, one is the impact on, most people have their IRAs and 401ks, which is tax deferred. That doesn't mean tax free. It's simply that you haven't paid taxes on it yet. So when you take that money out
so you have
during
to pay
retirement,
it at some point?
it's ordinary income, and you're taking Social Security, and this whole thing blows up on you. Then you have this awful thing called required minimum distribution. Anybody who's over age 70 and a half are aware of what that means. It's basically the government's forcing you to take money out and pay taxes on it. And if you don't, it's one of the biggest penalties the IRS has. It's 50% tax on what you owe. That's just huge.
Yeah.
So, being in front of that is so important. My wife Meredith and I, we're getting older, we're looking at retirement. We're going to have a tax-free retirement. That's something we've been planning, and we're working our way towards.
You can do that?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you have to be in front of it.
Right.
We've been able to get some clients. John, he's a really awesome guy. He got a good start on it, but he's going to have a very nice income, just below 6 figures in retirement, and 100% tax-free.
I want to be like John.
Yeah, it takes planning, though. You have to take time to learn about it and be in front of it. Most people are not in that position. But if you look at it this way, too, you want to take $30,000 a year to live off of out of your 401k, right? You retire your IRA. Well, you have to take more than that out to get that 30, right? You have to take out $36,000 or $40,000. So after you pay taxes, and then you take that and pay taxes, so you have $30,000. So $40,000 now is reportable income, and up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed, up to 85% of it. Yeah, this is money they've taken out, they've used, they're giving back to you now. Yeah. So looking at it from this standpoint is critical. We want to get our clients as close to the 0% tax bracket as possible, if it's feasible. And there's simple tools out there. Being aware of Roth conversions. People are very familiar with Roth contributions. They're limiting the amount that you can do. Roth conversions is taking taxable, paying taxes on it now, putting into a tax-free bucket. All the growth after that is 100% tax-free. And from that point on, it doesn't count against your Social Security. You take out $30,000, you get $30,000. So things like this are so important to be aware of. And we're coming up, the reason we're doing our tax talk now, it's a really good time to be in front of it, to sit down and say, is this a good opportunity before the end of the year to be doing tax planning? Now, it's real critical. Tax planning is not doing your tax returns. You have your TurboTax does not talk about this.
Right.
You usually hire a CPA. You're not talking about future tax planning. They're working within 2019 parameters, not thinking forward. So really planning in front of that, saying what can you do this year to reduce taxes down the road, just makes sense. But it's just not on the forefront. You have to actually ask that question and take the time and learn about it. But you want success stories. We have a lot of people like John out there we've been working with over the years, and they go, wow, that's just a lot less stress.
Yeah, because people don't want to deal with it themselves. I want to hear it, and I want you to hear it. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah, and I'm not a CPA. We work with the CPA with our firm and such, but basically, it's not rocket science. It's really it's open. It's common sense. If when you look at this and you go out there, you just have to do it. Yeah. You can't defer taxes forever. At some point, you have to pay.
Right.
And there's there's a bill going through Congress right now, and it's really going to disrupt, I believe, people when they inherit money too. The tax bill is going to be huge. The consequences will be enormous, and you know, there's more squeeze on the middle class now to pay taxes. Our debt's coming up on $1 trillion this year alone.
Yeah.
So where do you think this money's going to come from?
Us.
Absolutely, the people out there, and the rich seem to be getting away with not paying taxes. The poor obviously have their own situation, but the middle class, it's just an extraordinary squeeze. It's only going to get worse, and whatever we can do to help people be in front of it just makes sense. But it's something you can actually do something about.
Yeah, well, this is why we bring him on every Wednesday morning, so we can help us stay in front of the game. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Megan.
George. This is really good. So I know, you know, the taxes you've been paying in retirement, and let George and his team lessen them from here on out with this great offer. You need to call the number on your screen right now, 864-309-8146, to have George and his team meet with you one-on-one for your complimentary tax analysis and 1-hour consultation. Again, that number is 864-309-8146, and be one of the first 5 qualified callers with an IRA, 401k, or other retirement investments. This will help prepare you and your retirement portfolio for next year's tax time. You'll be thanking us this time next year. Again, that number on your screen, 864-309-8146, for your tax analysis and 1-hour consultation with North Star Financial. All right, coming up next, we're getting ready to dip our brushes into our creative minds. All about art on the trail when Your Carolina continues.